welcome back and sit down with us whilst we talk about things that surprised us as adults.
Yeah, and what we weren't prepared for, basically, because last week, if you want to catch up, we spoke about what we weren't prepared for as children, you know.
Growing up.
Growing up.
But yeah, which we got in really deep. So if you missed that, I would say go watch that.
Yeah.
And then come back to this one.
Only because this episode might make more sense if you have seen last week's.
Yes.
That's the only thing.
And if you're new here, please like, subscribe, do all the things. And if you've come back, still do all those things if you haven't already. And let's get into the episode.
Let's go. I think first and foremost, going into an adult, bald at this point.
Fully bald.
Fully bald.
Yeah.
And not wigs. Not wearing wigs. Not at this point. Especially when I reached like 19. So I would say that's when I was like an adult, because you're not a teenager anymore. Like you're growing out of that. So 20s and up until now, I'd say public perceptions, judgment,
Definitely.
Yeah, people's assumptions and awareness. That's what I was not prepared for. Like I wasn't prepared for the stares. Like I wasn't prepared for like how like almost forceful and pushy people would be to ask a question that's not appropriate.
Yeah.
Like the audacity.
The entitlement to know.
Yes, to know everything about you within like the 5 seconds of meeting
Not necessary. Not at all.
Especially when like you're just out in, like I was at a jewellery store with my mum and my sisters, and a gentleman looked at me funny and like rolled his eyes. But I think it's things like that I'm like, one, how do you have the audacity to comment on someone's appearance? And two, I was a young adult. Like you've lived your life.
Have some grace.
Surely you've lived, you've had like lots of life experience.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the people that are older than me that do have those perceptions. I get younger kids as well.
It is generational, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
It's definitely generational.
And I think when it's a child saying something, or not a child, but a teenager saying something, like I was out the other week celebrating my birthday, and a boy shouted, "Looks like my dad."
Oh, for goodness sake.
And so my partner and I, we were talking to 2 guys at the time, and we all turned around and stared at him. And none of his friends were laughing, just him. So I just knew he'd said that because clearly he probably hadn't pulled that night, not had a good night, and probably just wanted to laugh and to make his mates laugh, and it didn't work. So it's things like that I wasn't prepared for. The fact that people will use me to like get a one up on me and use that like as
almost
humour. And
they're better than.
Yeah.
I think similar story with me that just made me think of it. I don't know if I've mentioned this in our travel episode, but there was one time where I was travelling alone and I was at the airport, and there was a group of lads. Like, I think I would say they were like 16, 17, maybe 18. I don't know how old you have to be to travel, I don't actually know. But they were on their own, and I was going fast because I was like about to miss my gate. And I could just hear them going, "Whew!" as I was going past. I mean, saying it's making me laugh because it is funny. But
it's just immature.
It is immature.
It's just like...
Yeah, like, I'm not her being like, oh my God. But also,
it's like such an eye roll. Like, what's the need?
Like, come on.
Yeah.
So I think, it's things like that.
I see it as like, how original.
Literally.
Like, if you're going to try and insult me and make a joke, make it funny.
I literally turned around and was like... usually I'm the kind of person that like, at 3 a.m, I'm like, oh, I should have said this, I should have said that. But I don't know what came over me, but I was like, instant reaction, turned around and was like, grow up. And then his mates all laughed at him, and I was like, that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted.
Yeah.
But no, I think for me, it's easier to brush off a child or like someone younger than me saying something rather than an adult or like someone that's like much older than me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, if a child passes comment, I don't mind at all. If anything, like I look to their parent and kind of be like, chill.
Yeah.
Like they're learning, it's fine.
Yeah.
They haven't probably seen a bald woman before, it's fine. Like, yeah, it happens a lot when I'm like doing my food shops because I just don't wear my eyebrows, don't wear makeup. I'm there in tracky bottoms. Not at the moment because it's still bloody boiling.
Loving
still,
it
so
over
I'm
here,
just,
but she's not.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's fine.
Also, are you a Zara or a Faith? Like, are you loving it or are you hating it? Because I feel like people are really divided by this hate.
Yeah. Did I say I like it?
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'm like a...
You're not loving this life.
I'd love a bit of rain now.
I'm liking it because I particularly don't have any holidays booked this year. So this is my
Neither do
holiday.
I, but I'm over it.
You're the kind of person that sits in the shade on holidays, though.
Normally,
Yeah.
I was up until I was 18, and then I went to Ibiza with my friends, and I was like, I'm going to sunbathe, and I got a really nice tan, and all my freckles came
brave.
out. Well, I had factor 50 on, babe, let's be serious.
But still.
But it was like 80 UV, and no, not 80 UV.
I was like, were you at the sun?
No, it was 8 UV.
Okay.
And I was like,
Oh, that's quite high.
Yeah, but everyone else was sunbathing.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm just going to do it. And it was great.
Did you not? Oh, was it?
I loved it. But I could only do it for like 10 minutes, and I'm like...
10 minutes. I think for me, I get bored. I'm pretty sure this is like something undiagnosed. But I can't sit still for longer than like half an hour.
Yeah.
So I also find it hard to like just... Like people who just sit there for hours, I'm like, I cannot relate to you. I need to be doing something.
no.
But anyway, honestly, take a shot every time we digress. Genuinely, because why do we do this?
But however, as much as there is a big public perception and awareness that isn't there but slowly building that I wasn't prepared for, I'm hoping that I'm helping create that for the next generation.
Oh, 1,000%.
You know what
This
I mean?
is why we're here.
Yeah, especially because I had no idea how big of a community there actually was for alopecia, for people with differences, for different disabilities. There is a massive community online.
And I think it's one of those where it's almost like a domino effect. Like someone will see you as someone with alopecia and then they'll be like, oh, I can do this. So they'll also come on that community. Does that make sense? So I think it wasn't a case of that, like, we didn't know of it, but I also think it was a case of there wasn't much of it.
Yeah.
Not that we didn't know of it, if that makes sense.
You know, I think it was, I will always say, as soon as I started following people that looked like me, I literally went on my social media and online and I unfollowed every influencer that didn't look like me.
Oh,
I followed everyone that didn't look like me, everyone who I didn't agree with, I unfollowed, and I started following people that had alopecia, that were bald, that were dancers, that, you know, were into things that I was into, not just people that I'd watched growing up. Almost like that transition to, like, match my maturity at the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just so I could, like, keep going and, like, keep growing with how my appearance would be.
I think for me, on social media especially... Sorry, were you going to say something?
Yeah, no, I was just saying because at that point I realised I was going to be bald. So I'm just going to own it.
You should. With me, I think it's first started through social media. It first started as being ignorance is bliss. So I followed literally everyone that didn't necessarily look like me. And I was like, hang on a minute, this is a bit, like, I cannot relate to you. I can some aspect, like with your hair and makeup and all that jazz. But I can't relate to you as, like, your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I started following people like Chelsea Hills, who's a Californian dancer, and like loads of other people. Jordan Bone, she's a UK-based influencer, love her. And I think following those kind of people kind of made me be like, oh, I don't need to hide this. This is not ignorance is bliss. It's like, it was like kind of like exposure therapy, if you will.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Because here I am, being someone else's exposure therapy.
There you go. That's why we're here, peeps. As much as finding our own community as an adult was amazing, one thing that I still wasn't prepared for was still having low days.
Yes.
Like, I thought I would have a few years of, like, discovering who I was, growth, and, like, I'd be completely fine with myself. Like, I wouldn't feel awful anymore. I wouldn't cry about my hair anymore. I wouldn't miss my hair anymore, when actually, like, you still do, because you still see people that don't look like you and don't have the same lifestyle as you, and it's not that you see what you can't do, but you just see, I don't know, it's just like a different perspective of things. And so it's just to be authentic. As much as everything's so beautiful when you find your group and your community, there are also times where
you can't relate to that community.
Yeah, it's like,
and
it's hard to be confident all the time, and it's hard to, you know, feel like you are okay with how you are, because there's so much going on in the world. You just go back to...
And I think as great as that community is, and any community is, it goes back to what we were talking about a few episodes ago, where it's like people only show you what they want to show you, and you don't necessarily see the down days of people, even if they have alopecia, even if they have a physical disability, whatever that may be, you don't see that. So you think, oh, this person with alopecia, for example, is living their best life because that's all you get to see. Whereas I'm sat here crying my eyes out over whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I feel like it happens with everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we all compare ourselves to other people naturally, because we all want to grow and to succeed and have bigger, better things. So we all compare, and I think it's the finding the comparison bit is just compare yourself to who you were yesterday rather than other people.
And I think because especially hits a nerve for people with a different / disabilities, because it's something that we can't, your disability is something you ultimately can't change. And yeah, like regular people compare themselves, like everyone compares themselves, but it's sometimes things that you can change. And I think where it hits a nerve for me is it hits a nerve where my disability hits. So I'm like, I obviously can't change it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, right now, as you're listening, I am actually having a really down mental health time.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get into it too much, but I'm just saying, like, it's normal to do that.
Yeah.
And I've actually taken a social media detox. Taking my own advice from episode in Feb. Social media detox is always needed. Digital detox, whatever you want to call it. So if you do need it, take it. And yeah, I don't know how I digressed that, but just to say, like, when it hits a nerve, especially when it comes to different / disability.
Yeah, and I think it feels more primal because you think that when you grow up, you won't feel the same you did as a kid about your difference or disability. You think that, oh, I'll get over it.
Yeah.
But you did never kind of get over it. You just kind of learn to grow with it.
And I think the way sometimes I look at it, which might be like, whoa, is it's like grief. And it's grief in the sense that, like, people say grief has different stages, and 1 minute you're okay, 1 minute you're in bits and all that jazz. And I think it's grief in the sense that, for me personally, I grieve for the life I could have had. And I think this is specifically more hard. I can appreciate this is especially harder for someone who's had a life without a disability or a difference, and then it's come on later on in life, as opposed to someone like me who's had that disability all her life. And I think that's where I'm kind of confused with these feelings, because I'm like, I should be used to it by now, but I'm not. Like, for the most part I am, but sometimes, like, for example, this week I'm not. And I think that's how I would describe living with a disability is like grief sometimes.
Yeah. It's like, well, in terms of grief, I definitely had to, like, grieve my hair, because it wasn't like a different person, it was still me, but hair is a massive part of someone's identity. Like, when you take that away, it's almost like, how do I frame my face?
Yeah.
What style can I do today? What colour do I dye it to? What haircut can I do?
Regular things that most people wouldn't think about.
Yeah, it's like, like stereotypically, if you are walking behind someone, you can recognise them from the back of their head due to how their hair is.
Yeah.
Stereotypically, you can.
Yeah, that's what people say,
And so it's like, when you take that away, you know, like, I had someone a few years ago mistake me. I was in Newcastle, and they mistaked me. I can't think of, like, the past tense.
What is it?
The past mistaked.
It's not definitely not a word.
It's not that.
Mistaken.
They had mistaken me for another bald influencer, but I just, like, went along with it. I was like,
No.
yeah, that's me. Because I was like, I just didn't know what to say, because I didn't want them to be embarrassed for, like, getting it wrong.
Did you at least know who the influencer was?
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Because there's a Newcastle influencer, Danny G. Where Demuse.
No way!
Yeah, and so they said, we're watching your YouTube videos. To be fair, at that point I did have YouTube videos out, and I was like, oh, thank you. And they went, yeah, and the one where you did some sort of makeup, and I was like, oh, that
definitely not me.
That was
going
not
so
me,
well.
But okay. But I was like, hi, yeah, like.
Oh.
Okay, to be fair, it caught me off guard, because no one's ever said that before, like, recognised me not in my own hometown.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, but that is just so prevalent, how I had to grieve my hair when it fell out, because I wasn't that person with hair anymore.
No.
And I think there was like dance shows and things growing up, learnt myself and taught myself to ignore the makeup and hair conversations that would happen like the day before a show. Like, our hair's going to be like this and our makeup's going to be like this. I would honestly like zone out when they would talk about hair. Like, I did it through my masters, and it's like I ended up like not pulling a face, but like actively like disengaging from the conversation.
Yeah.
And like I didn't realise I was doing it.
Yeah.
But it was almost like to protect myself and not have to listen to what I should be doing.
Yeah.
But I can't do. It's strange.
Yeah, I totally get that.
I think grief, you almost grieve what you didn't think. You like, grief is massive.
Yeah,
it's a loss
big
of something.
Thing to navigate.
Yeah.
And going back to Chelsea Hill, who I said I follow, I was going to say recently, but I think she's been a mum for like 3-4 years now. I think her child is like 4 or 5. And she was saying how she grieves the mother she could have been. Aww. And honestly, that really hit nerve with me. Obviously, I'm not a mother yet. But it made me see my disability in a different way that I'd never... Obviously, I would get to it when I eventually become a mother, if I ever become one. But I just never thought of it like that. So she was like having to think about accessible playgrounds and things like that, because obviously you want to be in control when you take your child to places like that. You don't want to go to an inaccessible place and risk things happening because you just physically can't do X, Y, and Z. And I think that was really... Wow. And I think it's important. This is why it's important to follow people like that, because they make you normalise your thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
And yeah,
because to be fair, if ever I'm having a low day or like feeling that grief again, which isn't that regular, normally I just have the low days rather than the hair. I genuinely can't remember how hair feels until I've got like a wig on and I'm like, oh, I'm hot.
Yeah,
like,
take it off.
Warm, but especially at the moment. But I go back to like my old post and like watch what I've been through, kind of like see my journey and take my own inspiration from that.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Think of your journey and how far you've gone.
1000%.
And so, yeah.
And if you're thinking, you guys look slightly different, what's going on?
Or if we sound different.
Yeah. The camera said it's a heat wave. I'm gone. See you later.
The camera overheated, basically.
Yeah. So,
actually,
take 2.
Side note, if anyone does have like a go-to,
she's about to get technical, I'm out,
vloggy camera or filming camera, hit me up. That'd be great to know.
And for the rest of us, let's get clock back in.
Now back in, sorry.
Clock back in. Yes, so as I was saying, I think one aspect of my life that I didn't think I'd be grieving about, but I am, but at the stage of my life that I am in now, I am thinking about it, and it's navigating romantic relationships. And growing up, like, I was very naive into how that would look like, and now that I'm in it, doesn't quite match up. Not gonna lie to you. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying not saying I wouldn't want it differently, but yeah, I do. Let's be real. I feel like navigating relationships as an able-bodied person is much more easier than if you were to have a physical disability / difference. And yeah, so in the relationship side of things, it also makes me feel like I'm grieving a relationship that I could have had in a weird way.
I get that.
I don't know.
Almost like an experience you thought you were going to have, but you haven't had.
Not the same, yeah. And I've always said, like, I don't have any regrets in life, and I'm very much a confident person. I'm very much happy as I am. But if there was a scenario where I could change how things are, it would be when it comes to relationships.
Yeah. I think as well, navigating it anyway when you're older, it's completely different to what you soak in as a child. Definitely. You know? And so, like, even for me with a difference, like, my whole thing was, like, how can someone love me without my wig? And then also thinking, how can someone else love me without the wig when I don't even love myself at that point?
Yeah.
So I think it was, like, trying to learn that it is true you do need to love yourself and love your growth and what you're going to get into before meeting someone, or just be open that when you do meet someone that they're also finding love for the first time as well.
100%. I think it's so true that you say, like, you're like, if I'm not loving myself in this particular time, how can someone else? And I think for me, what kind of is at the back of my head constantly is like how we said our experience with our disability / difference is not linear, and it's like grief. So I'm like, what if like the way I feel about my disability some days, that person's also going to feel like that with it. Does that make sense?
I get that.
But yeah.
But I feel like the other person will just take on the frustrations that you have and feel it with you.
You'd hope. Where are you?
Because
if that's you.
only because I feel like,
being silly now.
especially in this day and age, people look for a partner they can also call their best friend.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's like being in like a 7.5-year relationship with my partner. I found that my confidence and opinion towards my own alopecia has changed in a more positive way through meeting him and through seeing his side of things, because you almost get out of your own head sometimes.
Interesting.
So maybe that is a future app we need to get into, like an update of dating.
I mean, it is, spoiler alert, it is non-existent in my life right now, but never say never.
Never ever say never. Sorry, never ever say never.
I was very like, never ever say ever. Say ever? Say never.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. But no, I think I just, this is one of those, I think this episode is coming at a great time because my headspace right now is very negative, especially when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm probably looking at it as a glass half empty kind of perspective rather than glass half full, where I usually, I hope you can see from these episodes that I am a very glass half full person, but right at this moment, that's not how I feel. Yeah. And that's okay. That's normal.
Yeah. I think, just to move on slightly, one thing as an adult that I was not prepared for, that I've only recently actually understood, is how inaccessible the world actually is.
Thank you.
Because just from going out with you a lot more, from like just to coffee and like to trips, the step up into your coffee shop, and I'm like, okay, so we can't order coffee. Like the ramp is broken. Okay.
There's no toilet.
There's no toilets. So you have, this is what got me. We went out for breakfast, brunch, the other week for my birthday. And did you know it was my birthday? I've said it so many times. And basically, I actually texted them on Instagram, DM'd them, said, is your venue accessible?
I did. Oh, I didn't know that.
And they said, really cool. It is. Both venues are. I was like, great, because I was literally like zooming in on Google Maps.
Story of my life.
But this is what also frustrates, because I'm like, you shouldn't have to do that.
No. Even though, if you didn't know, there is an about page on, there is an about section on Google, whenever you search somewhere that has that section of like, is it accessible, is it not? But not every business fills that in, which I think it should be mandatory.
Yeah, I agree. But I DM'd them saying, are you accessible? Yeah, we're accessible. Great. We go. It was lovely food, wasn't it? Like, coffee was
I loved
lovely.
it. Absolutely loved it.
So nice. I went to the loo. TMI, I guess. As you do.
Promise to make sense.
Yes. And then as I'm walking back, I'm just like, oh, Zara might want to go to the toilet. And I'm like, I don't see one because I've had to go down the stairs to go to the toilet. And so I'm like, just curious, like, do you have an accessible toilet here? And she goes, no, we don't. I'm really sorry. And she was like shocked that I'd asked the question, but also shocked herself that she couldn't give me an answer.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, do you know where the closest one is then? Couldn't tell me.
5 doors down.
Like, they were really questioning that. And then I said, maybe it's the spoons, because I know there is one in spoons. But then it made me realise that the girls I was talking to, they were doing their job perfectly. I was quizzing them, grilling them, but I was nice about it. I wasn't like, this is your fault. Like, I wasn't like that.
Yeah, because I didn't know what they're going to do.
Exactly.
You know?
I just wanted some information. But what I found from that is that they couldn't tell me where the accessible toilet was.
I'm sorry, why is that not part of building regulations?
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, even within that complex we were in, it was attached to multiple different venues and different like hospitality points and things. No clue where they was.
What kind of makes me like, oh yeah, that's fine, is because this particular place wasn't a chain. Whereas I had a very similar experience, if not even worse, with a chain. And I was debating whether I wanted to talk about this. I mean, I've already talked about this on my Instagram and on my TikTok, because this happened actually about a year ago now.
Wow.
I think that's how long they've been open. But Joe and the Juice, if you haven't heard of them, they're a cafe that serve juices and coffees and paninis and all that jazz. And they're great. I'm not going to lie. The concept is great. The paninis are great. What isn't great is how inaccessible the Manchester branch is. I'm just going to say it. So I was excited to go in, and when they opened, I grabbed my sister. I was like, come on, let's go. It was like 5 p.m. or something, after work, all that jazz. Go in, and there's a massive step, and it's one of those steps where, like, you can't just, like, you know, if you're a wheelchair user, you just kind of, like, wheelie on. It's You could not wheelie on. Like, you'd be flipping backwards if you tried anything like that. So I was like, oh, okay, get a ramp then. So my sister goes in, and she's like, oh, yeah, my sister's trying to come in, like, can we do something? And then the waiter just looks at her, and she goes, sorry, she can't come in. And I'm like, what do you mean I cannot come in? Like, what on earth? Not being like, oh, we'll help her, or we've got a ramp.
Yeah.
Like, we'll make
Not
some
even
arrangements.
saying, oh my gosh, we're so sorry, we've been so busy, we've not thought about
sorry,
that.
Can't come in. And my sister was like, okay. And we just walked off. Anyway, so I DM'd them on Instagram. Very long-winded, explaining the situation, being like, sort it out. The email, literally not a word of apology. I still have it, by the way.
Ew.
Yeah, I could read
Receipts.
it out. Receipts. I actually don't know. Shall I find
get
out?
Receipts all.
So, but hello. I kept it very profesh. But hello. Hopefully you see this message. I wanted to DM as a few weeks ago I went to the Joe and the Juice Manchester branch and I was really disappointed. I noticed there are large steps at this entrance, even though other shops in the same street on the same row have step-free entrances. Case in point, Boots. As a wheelchair user, this isn't the first time I have come across such issues, but the way that this was dealt with is my main concern. I was with another person and they went in to explain that I'm outside and to ask how I can come in and if there was another way for me to get in, other entrance or ramp they could provide, etc. The staff, in a non-apologetic manner, just said, no, she can't get in, sorry, and went back to what task she was doing. As I said before, this is very disappointing, not to mention in breach of many building and business laws. I actually checked with someone before doing that, by the way, so don't come at me being like, don't you know. I've checked, and this is true. Before reaching out to the council, I did want to contact you directly to see if this would be resolved. Spoiler alert, council did nothing. So they responded 2 days later, being like, hi Zara, thank you for reaching out. We now have a ramp at the store that can be accessed when needed. Kindly ask the team in store or use the accessibility doorbell for assistance with this. Right, there's so many things wrong with this process. Number one, where is the apology? Wait, was there an apology? No, not that we're sorry about your experience. Thank you for reaching out, that was it.
Yeah.
As if I'm asking for a coupon.
Yeah.
Thank you for reaching out.
You're asking for a discount? No.
No. Because here's what's wrong. Ask the staff, I'm sorry, what am I meant to do? Oh yeah, get out of my chair, go in. Oh sorry, I'm coming in with my chair, can you come and help? What do you mean, ask the staff? And I know there's a bell, but when you're busy, when there's like 6,000 different people in the queue, no, I can guarantee you, no one is going to give
Two
hoots about that goddamn bell.
And also, there's like a disability influencer advocate online. She actually went around her hometown and tested the bells. And there were some places she didn't get any response. People were walking in, nothing.
Yeah.
So you can't rely on the bells, unfortunately.
After that, I actually emailed them because I was like, this is still not good enough.
No.
And you know what happened in the end? They gave me a voucher for a free drink.
Wow.
I didn't actually end up using it because I am putting on myself, just me, myself and I, am boycotting Joe and the Juice.
Yeah. I've actually never been in there.
To be fair, there is one in Trafford Centre that is actually shock horror accessible.
Wow.
But I've not been.
Maybe they built that after.
They have.
Oh, I wonder.
They have. And I just think it's not that hard. And I think for me, what it is that I don't want to go in, press that bell, nothing happens and everyone looks at me like,
Yeah.
poor little damsel in distress. I'm not doing that. So yeah. So Joe and the Juice, do better. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk. I feel like we rambled on.
But to end on a high, I think one thing that I did not prepare myself going forward as an adult is that I would actually accept my alopecia one day. Being a child, I wasn't prepared for actually being bald. Like, I didn't think that would ever be a day where I would be happy walking out the house like this. Pointing to myself, like this. Like, didn't think.
I think this is the point where we like go delusional. But to kind of add to that, kind of, again, it might just be the headspace I'm in right now. But I think growing up, I kind of didn't see my disability. And now that I see it, I'm like, I wish I kind of didn't see it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
But I feel like it's not you that's seen it, it's the world that's made you see it.
I think, exactly that. I think it's the way, like, I wish I could go back to younger me where I didn't know how the world sees it.
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
It's like it's wish you... I also agree with this, and I'll explain it in a way where we all understand. In a sense that...
I'm sorry, wait, no. We're not brushing past that. We are not.
But in a sense that I wish I could go back to a time where I didn't know people's judgments and assumptions about the way I looked.
Okay, I hate to admit it, but that actually was exactly what I was trying to say.
I know. To end on an actual positive though,
sorry,
I feel like the more I go through my adult life, the more people I actually come across that I can relate to, resonate with, and just meet more people. Yeah. I've had so many experiences with the cards that I've been dealt.
Yeah.
You know, with my difference.
Yeah, and I think word of advice, this is going to sound tough lovey, but word of advice, chances are your disability or difference isn't going to change. So
just
learn to live with it.
Yeah.
Toughen up. Come on now.
One thing that can change is the way that you see it yourself.
Yes. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're signing out.
I need to go. I think it's because I'm in that glass half empty. So I can't be the nice, lovey-dovey, sugar-coaty person. But you are that in this episode.
But anyway, come back for next week's pod and...
we'll see you then.
We'll see you then.
Bye.